2017 Commission meeting. It's approximately 6:32. I call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor Santiago?
Here.
Commissioner Ennis?
He's here. He's on his way back.
Commissioner Davis?
Here.
Commissioner Perecca-Compare?
Here.
And Commissioner Sui?
Here.
Commissioner Davis.
Okay, for the record, Commissioner Ennis is here.
All right, we'll have the invocation delivered to us by Reverend Wheaton, Gospel Outbound Church, followed by the salute to the flag. Please rise.
Okay, let's pray. Lord Jesus, we come to you tonight. We thank you for this meeting. We thank you for the great gift of the government we have in this city. Lord, you've ordained it, and we ask you to empower it. Lord, we ask you to be with every worker in this city, for the leaders, and especially with this commission tonight, Lord. Give them wisdom as they go through this agenda. Lord, allow them to have honest agreement where there's disharmony, Lord. And Lord, just be glorified through this whole thing. We thank you for it. We give you the praise. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can we remain standing for a minute in honoring those disasters that are happening around the United States and outside of the United States? Thank you. You may be seated. Okay. Yeah, no problem. No problem. This meeting is being conducted in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act of 1975. Was advertised, posted, and made available to the public as required by law. The municipal clerk is directed to include a statement in the minutes of this meeting. Madam Clerk, are there any review changes to the agenda?
Yes, there's item 14, which was resolution 14, was removed. And also resolution item 7 had a typographical error, and it was corrected. That was with regard to Mr. Meyer's name. That's it.
Thank you. We have the approval of the minutes from September 19th. Motion?
Move to pay the bills. No, I'm sorry. No, wrong one. Motion to approve and dispense with the reading of the September 19th, 2017 work session minutes and regular session minutes.
Second.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perecca-Compare?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Motion to pay our bills, please.
Second. Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perecca-Compare?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Commissioner Ennis?
Thank you, sir. Tonight it gives me great honor to call Miss Mary Messick. Want to recognize Mary for 23 and a half years of dedicated service to Neighborhood Crime Watch. And I thought it was honorable because in this day and age, it's hard to get people to be committed to anything unless you're paying them. It's hard to get people to commit. And Mary, I thought that was recognizable when you mentioned that last week at the meeting, that for 23 and a half years, you have been committed through ups and downs, good and bad. So I'm going to read this to you. I'm going to ask you to please come up. And I know we're not trying to pay you for your service, but I do think that when people do things that are honorable, then they need to be honored. And this states Community Service Leadership Award, presented by the Commissioner of Public Safety to Mary Messick on the 3rd day of October, 2017, in recognition of outstanding dedication and commitment for providing 23 and a half years of service to Neighborhood Watch as a Neighborhood Watch representative. So, Mary, this isn't much, but it's something that I want you to treasure for the rest of your years, something that you know that you earned. And we give that to you. I'm going to ask that those of you who are here would just give a round of applause for Miss Mary Messer. Okay. She says she's not going to talk right now. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner. We now open up the mic for public comment. Anyone that would like to make a comment on an agenda item, please step up to the mic. State your concerns and limit your comments to 5 minutes, please. Seeing no one, I close the public comment portion of this meeting. Old business, please.
Mayor, there is no old business tonight.
Petitions and letters.
Mayor, there are no petitions or letters.
Reports of commissioners. Commissioner Davis?
Not at this time, Mayor.
Commissioner Sui?
Sure. First, the Scarecrow Contest has been, the deadline to enter has been extended until Friday, October 6th. All businesses, groups, and individuals are encouraged to decorate a scarecrow that will be displayed on High Street from October 1st, well, when you get it done, till October 31st. There is a $10 entry fee that may be paid only by check or money order. The Holly City Walking Club every Tuesday and Thursday from 6:30 to 7:30 at Lakeside Middle School. Remember, if school's closed, there's no walking. The Pumpkin Extravaganza will take place Saturday, October 21st at Corson Park from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Lots of fun, costume parade, pumpkin decorating, games, and music. If you have any questions, call the Rec Department at 825-7000, extension 7394. The Streets and Roads Report, there were 186 street sweeping violations written, 8,170 bags of loose leaves and grass clippings collected, 174 tons of brush collected. Keep in mind, we're on the west side of the town, and this is our last pass for 2017. We're trying to keep that updated on the Facebook page, so if you have any questions, look at the City of Millville Facebook page, and we've been trying to give the areas out about where it will be. Storm basin repair, loose leaf season starts on November 1st, so then you can sweep your leaves, and we'll pick the loose leaves up instead of the bag leaves. Storm basin repair at High Street and Harrison Avenue was completed. The storm basin repair on High Street in front of CVS was complete. Storm basin repairs on Elizabeth Street complete. Sinkhole at 911 Mulberry Street was repaired. Road patch repair completed at the following addresses: 721 East Vine, 904 Sassafras, 1108 East Mulberry, 705 D Street, 312 and 314 East Street, and 906 North 9th Street. And last but not least, a big section of High Street is repaved. Progress.
Yeah. Way to end it in a nice note. Commissioner Ennis.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I want to read the report from Public Safety. And this, of course, extends over September 2017, and these are the stats up until this moment. Millville Police responded to 2,019 incidents, made 180 arrests, responded to 111 motor vehicle accidents, conducted 245 motor vehicle stops, issued 283 motor vehicle summons, made 49 pedestrian stops, conducted 219 additional proactive duties in Center City, investigated 181 suspicious circumstances calls, 145 alarm calls, 106 DV incidents, 80 animal complaints, 78 property checks, 59 59 MV citizen complaints, 59 shoplifting, 52 thefts, 53 noise complaints, 48 assist medical agencies, 42 check the well-being, 42 burglary, 41 juvenile complaints, 40 warrants, 38 pedestrian stops, 35 unwanted persons, 31 harassment, 29 unwanted persons, 28 simple assault, 25 civil matters, 23 parking complaints, 23 criminal mischiefs, 21 verbal disputes, 21 assist other agencies, 21 psychological, 19 fights, 19 shots fired calls, 15 recovered property, 15 disabled motor vehicles, 14 community interactions, 14 disorderly conduct, 12 weapon offenses, 9 911 hang-ups, 9 frauds, 9 missing persons, 8 road hazards, CD possessions or distributions, landlord-tenant disputes, prostitution, 5 DUI, 5 aggravated assaults, 4 robberies, 4 ordinance complaints, 4 overdoses, and 3 motor vehicle thefts, 2 sex assaults, and 2 murders. There were 166 arrests in September of 2016, and there were 192 arrests in September of 2017. There were 39 Center City arrests in September of 2016, and there were 50 Center City arrests in September of 2017. And of course, the increased number can be attributed to the fact that you have more available officers and could use more. I want to bring light to something that we talked about in the last commission meeting, as well as over the tenure of my experience here at City Commission. We talked about the police mobile unit. And it was always my thought and belief that that unit, even before I was elected, I remember sharing it with the prior administration, that unit should be mobilized in hot spots. It's a very intimidating piece of equipment. For those of you who have not seen it, it's very intimidating. And it's a form of response when things happen. It sends a dual warning. It has a dual purpose, rather. It kind of helps the citizens to understand that we are responding, and it sends notice to those who want to commit crimes that we're capable of responding. And I've always believed that that unit doesn't do anyone any good sitting inside of a facility. That unit now is approaching 11 years old. We purchased that vehicle in 2006, February, for a sum of $265,000. That was paid for with capital funds. And to my understanding, that vehicle was purchased to protect the citizens, but for some reason it seems that we became more interested in protecting it. I want to see the city do better when it comes to crime. And I think we can do better, but we have to do things that are unprecedented. When you're dealing with things that you've never dealt with before, you've got to do new things. I want to read an article to you. This came out of the South Jersey Times. Bridgeton launches mobile police substation. When it comes to preventing crime at the local level, there are some basic strategies. But in most neighborhoods, it starts with having a police presence. The presence mostly comes through patrols, but for neighborhood hotspots. The idea of a police substation has always had its appeal. Now, I'm not going to read this entire article, but when I read this, I couldn't help but chuckle, because it seemed as if Bridgeton has executed exactly what I've been trying to communicate for the past 3 years. And they took a vehicle that was donated by the fire department and they modified it so that it could become a mobile crime unit. And they're using this unit in hot spots. So when things happen, this unit is immediately mobilized. I'm making an appeal again tonight that that vehicle that we have being warehoused on Cedar Street, that we paid $265,000 for to protect the citizens of this community, is not doing anyone any good sitting there getting old, because that's exactly what's happening to it. It's getting old. It was purchased to protect these citizens. I want to also share with you very quickly that we are responding to the crime, and we will continue to respond. We have to do things that are a little different. And we've come up with something called NIPIT. And some of you were at the meeting, and I introduced NIPIT. NIPIT is Neighborhood intervention and prevention initiative teams, plural, teams. And what that means is that here's an opportunity for everyone in the city to become a partner, because the days are long gone, Mary, when you can spearhead Neighborhood Crime Watch by yourself with 2 or 3 people. The next move for this city will be a result if we're going to move beyond crime and restore decency and integrity and character to this city. It will be a result of a combined effort from all persons who live in the city. So we're coming up with something called NIPIT. And NIPIT hasn't officially been executed. We're going to meet again Thursday, and we're going to talk about what NIPIT does and how NIPIT responds and what NIPIT consists of. So I'm saying this to you because I know there's a great concern about what is happening in Millville with crime. And I'm, as sure as I'm in this chair, I believe that we can fight back. But it's going to take all of us to fight back, not just Jody Farabello and the police department. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's going to be a result of all of us saying enough is enough. We're going to speak up. We're going to take back our city. Because as I've said before, your criminals are very minuscule when you look at the total population in the city of Millville. There's more people that want to do right than there is people doing wrong. So we just need to get in their mind to do the right thing. So I wanted to share that with you because I think it's important that we understand that we are going through some changes. And I have about 2 months left in the capacity of public safety, and my hope is to focus primarily on how to make Millville a safe place, a safer place. And I think it can be done. But as I shared with Mary last week as we closed this segment, just to find syringes and say, oh, look what we found. Or to put on Facebook, oh, someone went to the bathroom on High Street. That's not how you're going to fix this. We're going to approach crime just as you would approach some sort of infectious disease, because criminal behavior becomes a learned behavior. It's a learned thing, and you have to approach it a little differently. So I'm going to ask that you would engage with us. The meeting is this Thursday at 6:30, 221 East Broad. I'm going to ask you to please come, because I can't do it by myself. I'm not going to. It's going to take all of us. So, Mayor, I'm sorry to take up so much time, but I thought this was important. And also, very quickly, today I had FEMA come in. I contacted FEMA, the New York headquarters. Actually, we have Sherman Taylor, who does an excellent job. And I sort of went ahead of myself a little bit and reached out to FEMA in New York, because there's been many inquiries about these hurricanes, and considering the fact that we are literally surrounded by water. You have the Delaware Bay on one side and the Atlantic Ocean on the other. So we literally are surrounded. And many people have inquired, what do we do? What is our excavation or our evacuation route? You know, where do we go? So I thought it would be good to bring someone in to begin to educate and intelligize. In this way, if something does happen, we're not panicking on where do we go, but we have some sort of idea. So I hope today that information I hope that it was good information. I hope that those of you who heard it, that you benefited from it, because that was the intention. Mayor, progress.
Thank you. That was great information, and if anybody wants the app, it's FEMA. It's an app. I did it while they were speaking. You should get it on your phone, and it lists a lot of different things that you can do to protect yourself and what you should do. So it was. The guy was very, very informative.
Thank you, Mayor.
I had a question. You said you were appealing about the use of the vehicle.
What I was saying, I'm making an appeal. I'm sorry. I'm making an appeal to the citizens and to those of us who are responsible for mobilizing that unit. You know, mainly, we just need to make an appeal to even the administration that.
Well, isn't it your department? Can't you just tell them to do it? I'm confused. That's what.
Well,
Not directly, no.
I can.
Not day to day, but you can suggest it or talk about it, or.
I'd rather talk about it. I'd rather,
okay.
And I'm sure from what I've been able to see, Chief Farabello is willing to cooperate And I know he knows that, and I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought it up because I want to be clear on that. I think that I get best results when I at least give people a chance to respond. That's just my leadership style. And I know I could go in and say, I want this right now. I want to wait to give him an opportunity. And I think he's heard my appeal. I think he's heard my plea on this. And I'm sure that he's working. I know one of the things that comes up is manpower, but we do have an increased manpower. But Commissioner Campari, Pareka, I thank you for bringing that up. And because he has listened, and I know that he's interested in trying to secure this city. So I thank you for that.
No, I know he's very good at his job, and I know he's
Absolutely.
trying new ideas. I just wondered why you were appealing to us. I didn't understand.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else,
No, sir. Thank you.
Commissioner?
We went on a walk the other day, and I wanted to commend Commissioner Davis on your department. You were on the walk also. There were 9 properties that we found were a problem. Well, there were several, but 9 that stood out to us. 2, the department had already issued summonses on, so they're in the court. Fortunately, it takes about 2 months to go through the court system, so I hope everyone should still call and tell us when there's a problem property, but you also need to be patient a little bit because the process, unfortunately, takes some time. So those will be heard, hopefully, end of October, beginning of November. 3 more were added to the vacant property list, so now they'll be inspected on a regular basis, and the owner will have a bill sent to them that they'll have to pay for it. So that will cover the expenses for that. 3 were board and secures. They're already taken care of, so they acted very quickly on that, so they're doing a good job that way. And the last one was a recent foreclosure, so we just need to research that, see who's owning it now, and they will take care of that also. So they're doing a good job, so thank you. Also, we're working on changing the historical designation out at the airport. That's important for redevelopment out at the airport. I'm very happy to say that the environmental attorney finished his letter. It's being sent up to the state. He did an excellent job, as he always does, and it's making a case that the buildings that they want to preserve are so contaminated no one could go near them or in them. So there's a bunch of noxious gases and things underground and everything leaching. So he's making a plea that they change the designation. So hopefully that'll come through. We can get those buildings torn down, and then the Delaware River Bay Authority can do what they need to do to redevelop the property more effectively. Some of the buildings that they want to preserve are in the way to have good use of the big Boeing hangar out there. So it's really important. And I also had the privilege to go out to Easter Seals today. They had an open house today. I've been out there before. It's a great program out there. Everyone's so enthusiastic working. They all say hello when you go out, and it was very, very positive. And I want to thank them again. They've been working. We set this up 3 years ago. When we board up the properties, they go out and paint them. So yes, there's boarded up buildings, and yes, they're still there, but at least when you're driving by, they don't stand out to you like a sore thumb with the just the boards. They paint them like a window, and the clients love to do that. It teaches them a skill, so it's a win-win program, and I think it has helped improve the look of the city. And with that, progress.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
I have a report from the Sewer Department from Sal Joya. We've been having problems with the SCADA system, which our engineer spoke about, and it appears that we're handling it as best as we can. So that's going to be a continued problem, but the employees at the Sewer Department are doing the best they can to keep that under control. Also, I have a report from the Water Department. In the month of September, they had 1 water main break and 11 service line leaks that were repaired, installed 1 new 1-inch wet tap to a customer, repaired a total of 53 meters throughout the distribution system, which included new meters, installed turn-ons and turn-offs, and also conducted high bill and pressure check appointments. On the operations side in September, besides collecting and analyzing weekly and quarterly samples in distribution system and our points of entry, the utility pumped and treated a total of 95 million gallons of water, and that's from Steve Pierce from the Water Department. Anybody have anything else? Okay, I think we're good. Move right into ordinance on second reading.
First ordinance on second reading is an ordinance amending Chapter 1, Article 1, Sections 1 through 4, 1 through 6, 1 through 7, and 1 through 8, replacing City Clerk Administrator with City Clerk due to the separation of the offices.
Move the ordinance on second reading.
Second.
I now open this up to the public. Anyone that would like to address this on second reading, public hearing, please come up to the mic, state your concerns, and limit your comments to 5 minutes, please. Seeing no one, I close the public hearing on item 1. Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Preca-Compary?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Ordinance on first reading, please.
Okay. There's only one. It's an ordinance amending the municipal code of the City of Millville, Chapter 30, Land Use and Development Regulations, Article 18, Special Use Design and Performance Standards, Section 218, Shopping Centers, changing the minimum acreage requirements for regional shopping centers from 30 acres to 20 acres.
I move the ordinance on first reading with second reading on October 17th.
Second. Oh, sorry.
So Commissioner Davis, second that?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
I have a comment.
Go ahead.
This is important because up at the Kmart property, Raymore and Flanagan's coming in there. There's also supposedly going to be an Olive Garden there on the Violent side. On the Millville side, Aldi wants to move down and build a grocery store there. So that's a plus for the city. The problem is the way the ordinance reads, the sizes that they have to be are so big, it doesn't fit their model of what they want to do for the redevelopment. So by passing this ordinance, it makes their redevelopment project go through smoother and quicker.
And what I would add is not only does it reduce the amount of gross acreage that would be required, but it also deletes the requirement that you have, I think it's 100,000 square feet of gross floor space, and that is an obsolete standard because there just aren't that many stores of that size anymore. I mean, the days of the Macy's department store, may be gone, and the newer developers and newer developments that are coming in, the stores are smaller. So we needed to really modernize that part of the ordinance. That's the purpose of it.
So this will also help future development also for other new projects coming to town. I guess it's going to be smaller than that because they'll be probably standalone, I believe, because it's going to be on the Millville side. But this way they don't have to come in and build a gigantic building. They won't have to going through the zoning board and going through that whole process. That's an added cost for them. It takes more time by the time they send them all the information in, be scheduled on the meeting, go through the whole thing. So this will really streamline things, which is what we've been trying to do all along with all the planning and zoning, and that way get some more redevelopment here. So this is a plus for the city.
Excellent. Anyone else? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Preca-Compary?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Resolutions, please.
Okay, item 1 is a resolution approving a discharge of mortgage in the name of Millville Village Restaurant and authorizing acceptance of a new mortgage on property owned by Wheaton Historical Association located on 1009 Coombs Road, Block 265, Lot 8.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Any comments?
On this one, this is part of what we're working on with the assisted living project, Mill Village Restaurants, Wheaton Arts. So hopefully if they sell Heritage House to everything that's going on, that's what the city has the lien on, so we would have a lien on nothingness. So we're just moving the lien over to another property owned by Wheaton Arts.
Anyone else? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Preca-Compary?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 2 is a resolution authorizing mutual release and settlement agreement between the City of Millville, Think Pavers Hardscaping LLC, terminating contract for the project known as street patching and utility opening repairs, and returning contractors bid security.
Move the resolution.
Second. Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Preca-Compary?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 3 is a resolution authorizing cancellation of mortgage and promissory note for property located at 2 West Vine Street, Block 365, Lot 1, executed by Cohansey Cove Publishing, LLC, which has been fully satisfied.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Preca-Compary?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 4 is a resolution approving the fiscal year 2016 Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report for the city of Millville, and this does require a public hearing, Mayor.
Got it.
Move the resolution.
Second the motion.
Anyone that would like to make a comment on this resolution, item number 4, please step up to the mic, state your concerns, and limit your comments to 5 minutes, please. It's the evaluation report for the city of Millville, fiscal year 2016. Seeing no one, I close the public hearing portion on item 4. Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perka-Compare?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
The motion carries. Next item is a resolution authorizing special assessment of municipal lien. Oop, did I skip?
No.
No, you're
No?
good.
You're good.
Okay. For municipal liens for certain properties due to expenses incurred by the city of Millville relating to board and secure plus administrative fees in accordance with Chapter 11, Article 6 of the Municipal Code.
Move the resolution. Second.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perka-Compare?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 6 is a resolution authorizing use of facsimile signature with Ocean First Bank, who is the designated depository of the city of Millville.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Any comments?
I am glad that this is finally done. We've been working on this for, 6 months? And Marcy was, our CFO, was very concerned about making sure the city wasn't going to be held responsible for any checks that were cashed, correct?
That's right.
Come back on the city. So she worked very hard and was very tenacious on this. And so we thank her for getting this done.
Thank you, Marcy.
And she wanted a part of the agreement that they had prepared, or the resolution, the form of resolution that the bank had prepared revised, and the bank agreed to revise it.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So she did not give up, so we thank her for that.
Anyone else? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perka-Compare?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 7 is a resolution appointing Gary E. Michael of 826 Columbia Avenue, Millville, New Jersey, as animal coordinator in accordance with Chapter 8, Article 2, Feral Cat Program, to maintain records of feral cats, recommend caregivers, and to perform such duties as authorized for the period of 1 year.
Move the resolution.
Second the motion.
Any comments?
Yes, I think we have a correction.
You just said Michael by mistake
It was
instead of
corrected
Meyer.
on the agenda. I announced that in the beginning.
It's Meyer.
Right.
And I have a
Also
question.
known as Gary.
I apologize.
I have one question, Gary. I know that when you did this the last time, record keeping. We always brought up record keeping as to where the cats were coming from and where the colony was. Can we do better with that? I have no problems reappointing you, but I think that's something we need to improve. You don't have to get up. I just want you to know that. Okay?
May I respond to that?
But you can.
Okay. I mean, I have records of the colonies and the colony caregivers. However, insofar as maintaining a record of each time a cat comes and goes.
No.
Yeah.
How about numbers? I'm looking at numbers within those colonies.
The number of the colonies, I already know off the top of my head how many registered colonies we have.
How many? I'm curious.
Right now, we have 48 registered active colonies in the city of Millville. I mean, I can certainly speak on the subject, but I'd like to see some funding
Yeah,
from the
I
city
remember you saying that.
to support, trap, neuter, vaccinate, release, because right now we're just allocating copious amounts of funds to the Cumberland County SPCA for trap and kill, and it's not working. We're actually spending more money doing trap and kill than trap, vaccinate, neuter, release, and we're not solving the problem. We're dealing with the end result. And sadly, I can report I've had no cooperation from our animal control officer. Not only do I work for free, I have traps, everything like that. I pay everything myself for the city to help with nuisance complaints, but I have zero cooperation from Anthony Sills, our ACO. I mean, it's absolute travesty. I don't expect his direct appreciation, but I can say that unequivocally we have so many complaints from residents within the city about his lack of action. I've had even written inquiries to
All right, Gary, that'll be for another session, okay? Thank you, but Commissioner Ennis, I'm sure would like to talk to you.
Yeah, I would. I just want to ask a question. So, this is volunteer?
Yeah, he doesn't get paid.
You don't get paid anything for
No.
this?
No reimbursement.
No, he does a good job.
Well, so I guess my thoughts are, I don't know. I just have a thing. Free has no value. And it's like we always want this quality service. I don't know. I mean, God bless you, sir. I'm glad that, wonderful. Thanks. I'm done. Great. Thank you. Thank you, Gary. Appreciate your free service.
Roll
Thank
call.
Commissioner Ennis?
you. Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Preckett-Compary?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 8 is a resolution authorizing water sewer termination on October 23rd, 2017 due to payment default pursuant to Section 56-18 of the Municipal Code.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Preckett-Compary?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 9 is a resolution authorizing adjustments in the tax and utility records.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Preckett-Compary?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 10 is a resolution authorizing Atlantic City Electric and South Jersey Gas Direct install application and participation agreement for July 1st, 2017 through June 30th, 2018 pertaining to the Millville Fire Department building located at 420 Buck Street.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Preckett-Compary?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 11, resolution authorizing change order number 2 for project entitled 3rd Street Road Reconstruction, constituting an amendment to the contract with Lexa Concrete LLC for a reduction in the amount of $500.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Preckett-Compary?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 12 is a resolution authorizing request for performance guarantee release for irrevocable letter of credit from M&T Bank issued January 11, 2017 as submitted by the city engineer in compliance with NJSA 40:55D-53, requested by New Jersey Motorsports Park, LLC, for the exotic car garages project located at Block 125.03, Lot 6 off Warbird Drive, leaving a balance of $47,868.78.
Move the resolution.
So moved.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Preckett-Compary?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 13 is a resolution to approve submission of electronic grant application and execute a grant contract with the New Jersey Department of Transportation for Safe Streets to Transit grant funds on behalf of the city of Millville, identified as SST 2018 North High Street improvements, to construct pedestrian safety crosswalk and sidewalk improvements along North High Street, Sharp Street, Albertson Avenue, in the event said funds are forthcoming.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Any comments?
Yes, this will take care of that up to the state highway. Rest of High Street up to the state highway, not the intersection that all's combined that's still under design.
Anyone else? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Preckett-Compary?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
And Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Okay, 14 was removed. Item 15 is a resolution to approve submission of electronic grant application and execute a grant agreement with the New Jersey Department of Transportation for municipal aid grant funds on behalf of the city of Millville for 6th Street road reconstruction to construct approximately a half mile of roadway improvements on 6th Street from Broad Street to Main Street in the event said funds are forthcoming.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Any comments?
Yes, we have the money bonded available to do the entire project. Well, hopefully we'll get this grant and that will offset approximately, I think, $220,000 of the cost that we can reappropriate that money if we're successful and do another street. If not, we're ready to go and won't hold anything up.
Any other comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Preca-Compary?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 16 is a resolution authorizing award of contract with Arbrisco Enterprises for the project known as Street Patching and Utility Opening Repairs for a one-year term beginning October 3rd, 2017, and an amount not to exceed $50,000.
Move the resolution, and I have certification of funds in the amount of $50,000, signed by our CFO, Marcellus Shepard.
Second.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Preca-Compary?
Recuse.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
And Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 17 is a resolution authorizing a professional service contract with David Goff, TA Golf Homes, to perform professional services in the assistance in the administration of the city's Community Development Block Grant Home Grant Program in an amount not to exceed $17,500 for a one-year term beginning October 3rd, 2017 and ending October 2nd, 2018.
Move the resolution. I have certification of funds in the amount of $7,500, certified by Marcellus Shepard.
17 or 7?
17,500.
17.
We had this conversation earlier. This is for the year 2016. The remainder will go into effect next year.
But she certified
Because it's on
17,500
fiscal,
at the
it's
top.
on fiscal year, not calendar year. Okay.
Correct.
So you're saying 7,000?
Yeah, that's what, to finish off this year.
So it'll
Okay.
take you to December.
Right.
But how much did she certify?
It's on the top.
17,500.
Okay.
7,500.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
And then the
Got
next year amount will be the remaining thousand,
Right.
whatever it is,
$10,000.
$10,000.
10,000, right. Any other comments?
Did somebody second that?
Oh, yeah. Someone second that? Dave? You?
Second.
Thank you.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Preca-Compary?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 18 is a resolution authorizing special assessment of municipal liens for certain properties due to expenses incurred by the city of Millville relating to cut and clean plus administrative fees in accordance with Chapter 11, Article 6 of the Municipal Code.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Any comments?
Yeah, the cut and clean program is going to come to an end this week, but we'll still be out there policing the neighborhoods, looking for tall grass. If you have any concerns, continue to call. Instead of getting cut there now, they're going to get a summons. They'll have to go through the court system. It's a little bit slower process, but that's what we have to do in the wintertime. So keep calling with your concerns, and we'll stay on top of it.
Anyone else? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Preca-Compary?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 19 is a resolution authorizing the City of Millville to enter into an agreement with the Cumberland County SPCA and Animal Shelter Facility for animal control services for a one-year term effective January 1st, 2017, covering through December 31st, 2017, in an amount not to exceed $35,000.
Motion? You have a motion? I'll make a motion.
You need the do you have the certification of funds?
Do we have certification of funds? Who has it?
I put it in front of Commissioner Ennis.
Commissioner Ennis, do you have it?
Yep. They're right here.
Thank you for telling me that. I didn't know you had it. I'll make a motion with the certification funds from our CFO in the amount of $35,000. Marcellus Shepard. Is there a second? Roll call.
Actually, well, if there's not a second, the motion fails.
There's no second?
Was there a second? If there's not a second, the motion
No.
fails.
Okay, motion
Okay.
fails then. Give that back to her. Thank you.
Okay. That's that. Okay,
And go right into new business, please.
Make a motion to authorize the city clerk to advertise for bids for the project known as Millville Fire Department floor resurfacing, with said proposals to be returned to the purchasing board on November 2nd, 2017 at 10 a.m.
Second motion.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Preca-Compary?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes. We've now reached the public portion part of this meeting. Anyone who'd like to address the commission, please go to your podium, state your name, and address your concerns, and please limit your comments to 5 minutes.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. My name is Gary Meyer. I'm the newly appointed or newly reappointed animal coordinator for the city of Millville. We just had a motion that was made for a contract with the Cumberland County SPCA that apparently wasn't seconded, so it was never subsequently voted on. We have to have that shelter. I've been one of the most outspoken people against some of the policies and some of the relations between the city of Millville and the SPCA, but we do need a partner facility. Surprised I was here and actually heard that because I didn't know the motion. And for somebody that hasn't been a big online supporter of the SPCA, they've made some changes, and they've made some changes with the city of Millville, and I would urge that to be revisited. And again, that's kind of like a Republican voting on a Democratic or a Democrat voting on a Republican bill. So I'm coming out and saying I think we should really, look at that, because there is no alternative, and the city residents need a place for their dogs and cats to be serviced for strays, rehoming, things like that. So I would urge that that's looked at, or a viable alternative, which I know of no practical one in existence, is found. I just wanted to say that.
Thank you.
Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome.
Thank
I
you,
appreciate
Gary.
your service to all of you.
Thank you, sir.
Got it, Gary.
Thank you.
Better put this up here. Pastor Steve Harris, my wife Anna Marie from Restoration House. Just want to tell you guys that I really wish you all the best in this election. But I got to tell you, these last 4 years, we've come to a lot of these meetings, and it's been rough at times, it's been great at times, but we really appreciate all your efforts. I know there's a lot of passion in this room. And David, I know that you're not running again, but I just want to thank you again for bringing me into the fold a few years back when Code Blue first started. And here we are getting ready to run year 4. So a lot of people. We had someone come to our church actually the other day that was there the first year, and now he's on his feet. Wow. His marriage has been saved, and his kids, his whole family came in. It was totally out of the blue. So to have somebody from that first year to see that they're on their feet, he was in a bad way back then. And I know several of you have helped out on the ground level with this whole initiative, and we just want to say thank you. I just got a text from Cindy Cook about there was a food certification going on the other day from the Salvation Army. It's about food certification course, and out of 18 attendees, 14 were from Millville.
Wow.
So we had a really strong showing, and what that basically means is people who are, they get the training, and then when we have a certified kitchen that we could use and so forth, they're qualified to do it. So Millville is stepping up. We're getting from being the back of the line, we're coming to the front of the line. So last thing I want to say is we are accepting volunteer applications for Code Blue online, and if you're interested in helping out and being a part of helping the homeless get off the street in the extreme weather that we're going to be having. And we're also looking forward to working with the city now that every county in New Jersey is going to have a Code Blue program, because Cumberland County actually led the way for a change.
Absolutely. Nice job.
Applause.
Nice job.
And that wasn't for me. That was just saying applause in general. So I want to thank everybody's efforts for it. And finally, I just got to give some Mary love here. This pistol I call Angry Elf. Her heart means she's got such a big heart for this city. And when she comes up here and she's fired up, she's right in the middle of it. So Mary, thank you. You've stayed on Oak Street. You have been right in the middle. You've almost been like your own police station, if you would. And because of that, It helps everyone out. So we just want to say we love you. We thank you for your efforts, and again, congratulations for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Steve. Anna Marie, thank you.
Thank you, Pastor. Anna.
Hi, Betty Montione. I really just have a couple of questions. I'm looking for information, and I hope you can help me. Could someone explain the nuisance property? How many, like when cops get called, how many times do they go to the home before it's considered a nuisance property? And once it is, what happens?
Maybe I can answer that. We had an ordinance that had language in it that provided that if there were a certain number of police calls within a certain period of time, that the property would be in violation of the nuisance ordinance. There were some problems with that ordinance. There also were problems with the types of calls because someone might call to report a crime, and then that would be charged against them as a potential violation and create a situation where an innocent person reporting a crime, maybe not even on their property, now would be assessed a fine if their property was placed on the nuisance list. So, but what can be done is if there is a nuisance, that people can be charged with having a nuisance. For example, if they have a big party and there's 50 people that are spilling out of the property on the street, I mean, there already are tools in effect to charge people with that. Now, we did adopt a new ordinance that deals with larger complexes, and we have a crime index, and if they exceed that, then they may have to provide cameras, they may have to provide private security. We can do that. The courts have allowed us to do that. I don't know that the old ordinance was one that would have been upheld had it gone into court, and it was actually being challenged by some of the apartment complexes as being ultra vires.
I was wondering what happened to that nuisance law because I was reading a lot of stuff, and I'm like, it must not exist anymore because something was wrong. So it don't exist.
No, Betty, I just want you to know, Brock was keeping track of the ordinance. We were doing it, and none of the properties ever qualified when we were taking care of it. And it's really was the way the old ordinance was. It was so it took so much time to do it. It was time intensive. And then what would happen, it would have to rotate every month. So someone, I forget what the magic number was, 7 times. They would get to 6 and then would behave for the month and then would have to start all over again. So even the way it was, it really was not working well.
But there were properties that did violate the ordinance, and we were getting pushback, and we did the research, and I don't think that ordinance would have been sustained. So I think it was an optimistic ordinance, but I don't think it was one that is authorized under state law, and I think that's what the problem was.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know it was for a month. I thought it was for like a year. You know, I didn't know.
But Betty, that doesn't mean that if there's excess of noise, there can't be a summons issued for that. If there's a public disturbance, a summons can be issued for that. So there are plenty of tools in the toolkit to address a nuisance property, even charging the owner, because there are things going on at the property that shouldn't occur.
So that people should just keep calling and calling.
Yeah, but the way that ordinance worked, it didn't really send somebody to municipal court. What it did was, the owner would get a fine,
Right.
And every time the police came, the owner would have to pay $150. And with some of the large complexes, you were talking about $10, $15, $20,000, and they were going to fight that, and I think they might have been successful.
That's a shame. Okay, that was my one question. My other question is, I don't know if anybody has the answer to this because I've gotten so many different answers. I don't even know if you guys would even know. The rescue squad, supposedly the hospital bought it. Okay, now if they bought it, does that mean money passed hands? And if so, who got the money?
Not the city, I can answer.
Oh, I can believe that.
I mean, I think that was a private agreement between two. The city wasn't a party to that agreement.
Brock, I did read somewhere that when a nonprofit corporation dissolves, the board gets to decide how the money is dispersed.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any record of that anywhere, though.
Yeah, I don't know. There is. I haven't seen it.
Well, if they're nonprofit, don't they have to answer to someone?
No,
No?
no.
That must be nice. Maybe I'll open up my own nonprofit.
Happens every night.
That was really my question, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Betty.
Seeing no one else, I close the public portion part of this meeting. Comments of commissioners. Commissioner Davis.
Yes, just briefly. I'm not surprised by Pastor Harris's comments that 14 of 18 people attended the food service certification. The Millville's just over, I don't know what the word is. We have so many volunteers here, in our churches and our charitable organizations, civic groups. I remember 4 years ago when you started the Code Blue, I went there with a small donation, and the stuff was just stacked to the ceilings. I'm like, there's going to be enough people here to eat all this stuff. And I still don't know what you could have done with it all. But,
They ate it.
Yeah. And, it just continues. Everywhere you go, in our youth organizations, the volunteers continue to come out. Gary Myers, a great volunteer, and we appreciate his service that he provides to the city. And that's what the city of Millville is all about. It's coming together and helping one another. And I think we're starting to grow again as a community, and I'm looking forward to seeing it grow. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Sui.
Well, I really have nothing left to say after that, so progress.
Commissioner Ennis.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I just want to recap the comment made about the nuisance property. And one of the things that I will say on that is we're going to have to tighten up on that ordinance. And that means that my theory has always been an ordinance that's not enforced is wasted ink. That's what it is. So it's one thing to say that we're going to do, but if we're not doing, somebody just wasted ink and paper. And we're going to have to tighten up on these violators that create a nuisance. We're going to have to tighten it up because we're dealing with a different element, a different culture, a different mindset, a different behavior. And to restore some sense of pride and dignity and to make this city attractive to people that are contributing to it, we're going to have to do some work on this landlord business. That's where a lot of it starts. Because if you're a landlord and you've got a tenant that won't behave him or herself, see, the city needs to control that, not the landlord controlling it. If you can't make people do right, we have ordinance in place that will make you do right. And that's where we've got to change how we do business. And I think that's where the breach is. That's where the break is. That's where a lot of the pushback comes. It's because we're not tightening up that noose and demanding and requiring, just like they do at your shore points, Avalon and all these places. It's not that people don't want to do criminal things. They cannot, because there's ordinance in place that says if you do, this is what's going to happen. So I'm going to keep hammering that here and after, that's where we've got to change how we do business. You can't blame the tenant as much as, and I'm not saying it's all the landlord's fault, but if it's my house and you cannot behave, then we're going to fix it so that you don't have to worry about behaving because we'll rearrange things. Progress, Mayor.
Thank you. Commissioner Perry.
Okay. I'll get my thoughts on a comment on that in a minute. I just want to say we're having a town forum on October 11th at Rick Avenue School at 7 p.m. So we invite you all to come out. Commissioner Sui will be there and whoever else would like to come. And we'll be answering any questions that you have. and any comments that you have or any concerns. Also, Commissioner Sui and I will be on the radio again on October 14th at 11 a.m., and that's 92.1. And the hour goes much quickly if you call in, so we would appreciate any calls. I mean, we managed to talk, but it is better with call-ins.
When they call in, yes.
And Commissioners, respectfully, I have to disagree on some of your points on the last column. The Public Affairs Department is doing an excellent job now of enforcing all the ordinance that pertain to their floor. So they have rental registrations, rental inspections, code enforcement. Commissioner Davis has seen to it that they're still following and towing the line and doing their job. The summonses that they write have probably tripled from what they were doing before we came into office, because the job they were doing then was not as good. So that's been drastically improved. As far as rental registrations, when we came into office, over 300 of the downtown properties were not being inspected. That stopped. They're inspecting all the properties. They're going after the fees. They're looking for illegal rentals. They're making sure things are inspected, and they're towing the lines. When people call, they take care of them. They listen to their concerns. We're going to go out and look at a few places because there's been some other concerns. So great progress has been made in that direction. As far as the landlords and the tenants, the landlords need possibly to do a better job seeing who they rent to. That is a concern, but there's a far greater problem in that the courts make it very hard to evict tenants that aren't doing their job. There's nothing that the city can do about that. That's up to the courts, and that's over at the county, and something has to be done with the freeholders of the state government to control that. So all we can do is enforce all the tools that we have. As far as us forcing people to do certain things, we can only do so much within the law. We do report the Section 8 that have any arrests going on, because we can report that. If it's just an arrest, they do not have to be convicted. Then it's up to the Section 8 agency. So it leaves our control then. So some of the things that you're talking about, we cannot control, and we can't. There's a fine line between following the ordinances and turning this into a police state. So I really don't want a police state here. I'm a firm believer in going after the small things to fix the big things. The police department's been doing that lately, and I'm very proud that they're stepping up with the community policing, and that all helps us. And we all have to work together to do that. But the landlords need to also hold some responsibility for what's going on. With that progress, I think.
Get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Means, thank you.